Good morning. Welcome to BCB Live. We're going to jump right into this morning Drive Safe, Dave, with some of those devastating floods we had in Tennessee.
Let alone just tragic. Almost 14 inches in some areas, just within a 24-hour period. I was reading somewhere that they said they had as much as 9 inches in 3 hours, and there's nowhere for the water to go when it does that, especially in those rolling hills there west of Tennessee. It just channels in, funnels in, and then creates this huge river, this Mississippi running down your street, and it has killed so many people.
Over 22 people, I think, have died so far. Others missing still, including some twins, too, right? You see that with the twins? Swept away from their father's arms. Just devastating stuff. And it looked like a tornado went through there. I mean, when you watched it on the news, on the Weather Channel, it was hard to imagine that it was flash floods. But Drive Safe David gave us a different respect, I think, on what flash floods really can do.
I think we forget that water weighs so much, and it's a little over 8 pounds per gallon in a cubic feet. Just a cubic foot of water is over 56 pounds. And anytime that's moving in any direction and it hits you, there's no stopping it. It's a force unrelenting, and it knocks down, pushes, and kills. And I think right now they're saying that they have well over many people still missing, I think in the 20s and 30s. It's a fluctuating number because people's names are getting posted and the people are checking in. But they do believe that they still have about 25 people still missing. And and unfortunately, even the emergency services yesterday think that it's going into recovery efforts now and not a survival mode and saving people.
Yeah, just so lots of prayers going out to the folks up there in that Tennessee area. Over 50 soldiers deployed there, National Guard as well. Blackhawks, Humvees, they're all out there right now doing what they can to try to find some of the missing folks. Hey, but listen, we know that you all out there probably have family, friends, somebody out there. Lots of prayers going out for them. As a matter of fact, Drive Safe, let's hop into a quick prayer for those folks in Tennessee. Our dear Father, we thank you for this day, and we thank you for all that you are. Man, we see the power that you have and the power that comes down, and we don't understand it sometimes, why this has to happen, why it happens. And Lord, we just ask you right now to be with those families in Tennessee, to be with those that are hurt and that have lost their homes, lost their family, lost friends. Lord, watch over them, give them that strength, give them that comfort. And then right now, Lord, I ask that we as a country do our part to make sure that we help them out, that we step up to the plate and do what we are supposed to do as a country to help out. Lord, allow us to have that ability to love one another. We know that's what you ask. It's in your Son's name we pray. Amen. Drive Safe, Dave. We also had a little hurricane, or, was it an actual hurricane? Did they downgrade that when it hit landfall?
It downgraded when it made landfall, but it did make hurricane status right before. But once the wind hit the ground, it created a little bit of friction. I do know that they're still talking. They're going to be talking about flash floods today. They're talking about an incredible amount of rain that's coming in, and it is slowing down, which means it's going to create flash floods, and we need to be very aware of what's going on in that area. I think the president has always already issued that area as a what is it called?
Well, Buckle Up Bob will have that answer here shortly as that's why Buckle Up Bob, let's face it, that's why Buckle Up Bob is the weatherman. You know what? We can't step up and do what he does, so let's just skip off that. Hey, listen, if you're up there in that Northeast, let's make sure that we're aware and we respect the flash floods. Keep your phones on, check your weather out. Just because it's fine where you are, where are you going? Look at that. Take your time to make sure we see that part. Drive Safe, Dave, and other news. Did you see that we're having a down south, speaking of a little bit of water in Houston, the Port of Houston just got a big expansion approved.
United States Corps of Engineers is going to increase that channel, going to open it up and make it wider and basically make it more accessible to import down there in the Port of Houston. So we're looking at a little dredge action fixing to go on down there, down in the Port of Houston.
So it's going to start this year. They say to expect it to be done by 2025. It's a $1.1 billion expansion that's said to increase revenue. I should say the economic impact. Let me change that up. There's a difference between revenue and economic impact. Economic impact is what you use to get some free money. revenue is one other thing. But the economic impact expected to be $200 billion a year. And so economic impact, let's just talk a little bit about that. That's saying this is now people are going to stay in hotels, and that's when they start. Now they're going to build more houses, and we're going to do all this. This is the restaurants are going to be busy. But let's face it, if the restaurants don't get people back in there working, it's not going to happen.
Still bad service.
It is, So we went to, big shout out as well. Big Blue and Cynthia, send them an email, brian.brzezowski@bcbtransport.com. A buddy of ours, owner of BCB Transport, him and his wife, Cynthia, celebrated 23 years of marriage.
All right. That's awesome.
That's a long time.
That is a long time.
That's a long time. Man, they're, 44, 45, still pups.
They're
got married when they were 12.
Yeah, they're very young. They're going to be a record breaker one day. They'll be one of those record breakers. But, I'll tell you that the $1.1 billion, and you talk about economic impact, that's really the region, what they get, the money, the residuals that they get from all that money coming in. I'll tell you what, the hot dog vendors. I'm thinking they're going, those guys at the Home Depot and the Lowe's, those guys are going to score big because those guys usually
I'm not a big hot dog eater, I'll be honest with you, but when you go to Home Depot,
the brat,
there's something about that you smell it out there, you're like, oh my God, give me one and load it up with onions.
It's magical.
And
it's a magic place.
For a little while, I was scared that they had just disappeared. I was on the hunt for a Home Depot hot dog for a few months there, and was going around. They're out there, but it's hard to find. It's hard to find
they take
now.
credit cards. They do it all. They'll swipe it now, and you go in and get you the brat. And I'm like my wife. She's to the point where she says, "I know you. Can we get it on the way out? You don't need to walk around."
Well, you got to get on the way out. You have to get it on the way out.
I'm almost to that point where I'm ready to get it on the way in because I'm going to walk around the store.
But you know what? So you talk about those. It goes into that grocery store right now.
Right.
We look at some of the groceries right now. Again, if you go to Rouse, I think it's Rouse out in Louisiana, a large supermarket chain, over 60, they're saying that they are struggling to keep over 40% of their orders that they bring in. They're only getting like 40% of them in. They can't keep the stock shelved. They can't keep, it's hard to keep the shelf stocked. How about that? Use the right word. We can't do it. We're struggling across the country on that. Last night, we go to grab some lunch meat. And again, it was just like a quarter of a pound of ham or something like that. And I'm just going to tell you, it's for my daughter. Just get it from there. Get the Oscar Mayer if it's out there. She doesn't need the boar's head. But we get in line, and it took like 20 or 30 minutes. There's just not a lot of people working today.
Yeah, and I think it's in every industry, right? It's not just the grocery. It's not the restaurants. It's all across the board. I think it hasn't fully. We haven't fully gotten to where we need to be to not only. Especially in the service industries. I think we're really hurting in the service industry.
Well, the supply chain in general, though, is just really jacked up right now. When you look at that, every month there's a new record. When we talk about 20-foot equivalents, we're talking a little bit of the drayage right now. We talk about the Port of Houston expanding, right? Yep. Expanding, all these people expanding. But let's face it, these rails, the intermodal, the ship, the drayman, everything's at an all-time high. The 20-foot equivalent, so that's a box, a 20-foot trailer going on a ship coming over here. It's going to set another record in August that was just set in May.
Yeah, it's
17% year-over-year increase coming in on these container ships right now.
And we still don't have enough.
You don't have enough, and we were looking at. There's another article that talked about how long it takes to make a container.
Almost
right? They made, listen to this. This was unbelievable. They made 3.368 the first half of the year.
Million. That's
sorry. 3.368 million.
Yeah.
I think the bigger question is this. What can you do to build a ship? You know what? What are you going to put the containers on? These ships hold on top. The most of them can carry 25,000 containers. It's a lot.
That's a lot.
But you can keep making them, but where are they going? And Drive Safe Dave,
you know where they're going,
let's
right?
Face it.
You know where they're going.
We can make these things, but where are the 53-foot trailers at?
Yeah, but you know where they're going, right? They're going off the Port of LA and parking, and they can't even get in the port. They're spending a month out there waiting just to check in. I mean, it's the whole thing is locked up, and everywhere you go and every way you do it. It's not like It's not like the supply chain is broken. It's just stressed. It's
I believe it's broken.
Oh,
I mean, think about that. It's broken. You can say stress, but isn't that the same thing as broken? When these ships are coming in, they're getting parked, and let's look at this now. You can make all the containers you want to as well, but where are the chassis at?
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? How about this? Hey, where are the trucks at that are going to pull them?
Yeah.
Where are they at?
Yeah. Oh, I know.
They're not here. It is a broken mess right now. It's not stress, Drive Safe Dave. I don't think. Where are the trucks at? You order a truck now, you're not going to get it till the middle of next year.
Or the driver.
There's no parts. It is not stress. It is broken right now. It's jacked up mess right now in this industry, and we've got to continue to fight through it. Drive Safe, one thing we've got to do is make sure that the drivers that are running, right, the drivers that are running, we got to make sure that we're staying healthy too. COVID continues to make a statement, right? A lot of young kids are getting affected, but it's out there. It's real.
Yeah, it's vastly hitting those that are not vaccinated. So and we didn't vaccinate the young right away, and I believe that's what's going through, and it's attacking a lot of the young people. And we all know that young people believe themselves to be indestructible. I thought at 18 I was pretty indestructible, and you're not. I mean, it will affect you, or it will affect someone that's close to you, because you'll get it. You may not have any symptoms, but you can give it. And we've just got to be really careful how we treat this disease and what we continue to do. What we've done so well, I think everybody in this industry has done a good job of being and doing and what they needed to do to be safe, but we've got to continue to do it. This is not your time to let your guard down. This is the time to continue to wear a mask. This is the time to continue to wash your hands.
Yeah, don't get lax out there. You know, when you're out there on the road, you can't get lax. You have to continue. And we'll say it like we said it last year. Wash the hands, 20 seconds, hot water. Wash. Wear gloves if you can. Wear that mask when you go inside. Do your part to make sure, Drive Safe Dave, that we keep this contained.
Yeah, we've got a lot of work to do, and I still think our country still has a lot of work to do to get this under control. I don't think we're through this. I think we're in another huge wave. There's still people sick. There's still people dying. We still have a lot to do, but it takes every single one of us to do a small part.
We got to make sure that we're doing our part. Listen, we need to make sure that we are focused on and Drive Safe. It's easy. It's just like a distraction, right? You can forget to wash your hands. You forget to put your mask on. These things happen because you get out of your truck and you go and you get the fuel, and you just don't think about who else has been on that, how many hands have touched it. And the odds are that somebody that touched it probably was exposed.
Yeah, and not only that, I mean, I can attest to it. It does happen. You stop. You got to go to the bathroom. I mean, you're in a hurry. There are times when you got to make a run for it, and you got to do what you got to do. And there are times when you go in and you're at the fuel aisle, and you know what? I'm going to go in and get me a hot dog real quick. And when you do that kind of stuff, you got to make sure you wear your mask. You got to make sure that when you walk into the fuel, just even at the fuel desk, not even in the store, even at the fuel desk, make sure that you wear a mask. Make sure that you get what you've done and what you touch. Be careful of what you touch.
Hey, so how'd the weekend go? Did you touch anything you shouldn't touch? I know you had a wedding coming up on. Were you out just throwing stuff all over the house this weekend? Was it calm at the Drive Safe Dave house?
It was chaos. The kids finally got moved.
I thought they moved the house.
They did, but okay, so they emptied bedrooms, right? So they took 2 complete bedrooms out of my house, and I have 5 families coming into my house this week that'll be here on Thursday. So I took apart and assembled bedroom sets inside the house, brought in beds, set them all up, did everything that my wife wanted me to do this weekend. In fact, I told her last night at 7:30, I'm done. I'm out. I'm toasted. I was exhausted, and I was on tools. I was running a screwdriver. I was running it all. Got it all, carrying king size mattresses. I'm just telling y'all, those are a beating. But king size mattresses.
You carried a king size mattress on your own?
No, I couldn't.
Okay,
I absolutely could. I had one other on, but it doesn't matter. My half sucked. I don't know what y'all are talking about. My half sucked. I don't know whoever was hauling the other side of it. I don't care what their side was going, but my half was horrible. And have y'all tried I will suggest the bed in a box. Have you tried those? Have you tried those yet? I'm not. No, they're actually not too bad. You open them. I opened them up on Friday. Let them air out in the pool house on Friday, and they just came from
Pool house. Let me tell you something. If you ever wondered if this guy came from money, he grew up on the silver spoon side. The fact that you have a pool house and that you talk about it, it just says that, you know what, we can't compare with Drive Safe Dave. Only child, spoiled pool house. You know, we watched the butler carry in those mattresses, and dadgummit, they weren't moving quick enough. I had to go in there and help.
No. So they start out in this little bitty box, and you open them up, you cut them open, and you lay them, and then they just swell. It's like have you ever had an MRE? Have you ever eaten one of those?
I have not. I've seen them though.
And you pour a little water, and then the meat swells up to like this big. Well, that's what happened to this mattress. They swell up, and then they get air on them, and they create this. But they're still very heavy. So I mean, I'm just saying, it's a crazy weekend. You know what? And it's not gonna get any better, right?
No,
for a couple of days.
You're 5 days away from a wedding.
Correct.
Congratulations to you. We
Excited.
can't wait to hear about this. Hey, producer, let's hop to a commercial and talk a little bit about distraction.
I was out on the highway, just loving my job. Feeling blessed with the presence of Buckle Up Bob. After this run, I'll get home to the ones that I love. Drive Safe Dave, he's got the passion to get the job done. Spreading the news and sharing their views, solid as brick. Here comes Sir Rick. You've been safety struck. Oh, yeah. Thank you, sir.
You've been safety struck.
Don't lean in too much. I bet you're gonna lean in hard. This is a hug moment.
All right, I'm just going to say again, Music Man Mike, he went a little extra on that. I mean, you saw that last.
Greatness, though. I'm not. Look, I got to give it to him. It's absolute greatness. I'm not detracting from his ability.
No. I've had many
celebrating.
Compliments. I've had a lot of people call and say, "Who is that guy?" Haven't I seen him on Unplugged? Haven't I? And
that wasn't Unplugged. That wasn't MTV. That wasn't a cutaway.
It was a safety struck takeaway. You're absolutely right. Hey, Drive Safe Dave, distracted driving. Before we talk a little bit about that, where are we at with our streaks for BCB Live?
97 days, 3 days away, and we're 4 days of Get Out and Look. So we're 97 days. We're fast approaching 100 days, sir.
And that's 97 days of a lot of trucks out there running. Yeah, I can't tell you, but we're probably pushing 700,000 miles a week of safe driving out there in the BCB Lives. A lot of folks out there focused on safety. And at the end of the day, Drive Safe, that's what we're here for, to help you, to help support you, and to help encourage you to stay safe out there on the highway. It's what y'all do, and for 97 days, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's a good number.
Well, what are we gonna do? Are we gonna? Let me tell you. I'm gonna tell you what we're gonna do. We will hit 100,
okay,
and we are gonna rock it out in here.
Okay, I'm good with that. I've already got my rock. What are we gonna do?
We're gonna rock it. I tell you, we've already got a surprise out there for us. Did you see my surprise? Pretty big, pretty impressive. We got a rocker, an old school rocker, gonna start it off on the day 100, which is what, Thursday?
Yes.
Thursday. Thankful Thursday. You know what? It's meant to be.
Magic.
It is meant to be. Thankful Thursday. We're gonna rock it out for you. Let's do a concert in here. Let's do something nuts. I'm telling you, we're gonna go crazy. You know what? I want shirts off in the front row.
Whoa!
I'm telling you, I want people on shoulders.
Okay.
You know, I want the whole thing.
We're going to hose them down in the ground. Fire hoses out and hosing them down in the crowd.
Hey, but listen, that would be one heck of a distraction. And we want to continue to talk about distractions. And also, we also want to make sure that, we talk about some of the warning signs, Drive Safe Dave, when they're out there driving today, when you're distracted. And distractions can happen just from just doing your normal job, and you're not focused on what you see up there to the right or right up on top that says flash flood possible. We've got to, I tell you, we've learned one thing is that we better take those serious. We get the warnings on our phones all the time. And I mean, here in Mansfield, Colleyville area, we get them constantly when it rains. And Drive Safe, I just don't take it all the way serious like I guess I should.
Yeah, because it's not a normal event, and they have what they call in those flash flood moments, and in those flood moments, they have 20-year floods, 60-year floods, 100-year floods. They have these special events created so that they can designate the type, and we don't. When was the last 100-year flood? Do you remember that?
No idea.
1991 in this area. So you've got to make sure that when you see it, you hear that. But you know what? It could happen at any time. These things can create at any moment, and those moments are so dangerous, and you've got to be wary of them. And you know what? You don't know where they're going on in that area. And what you do wherever you drive, you listen to Buckle Up Bob, you listen to what he's telling you, and you make sure that you understand the weather, because the weather affects everything that you do. That weather makes a difference out there on the road. How you drive, what the decisions you make, when you're going to drive, how you're going to do it, how fast you go, how slow you go, what special conditions you're going to do to the vehicle. Everything about the weather is very, very important to you out there on the road and knowing what's happening.
And I do think this, as we talk about these flash floods, as we talk about some of the signs that we can get distracted on, right, Drive Safe, because we're listening to the Sirius radio, so we're not catching the local news when we're driving these vehicles, and it can create kind of a distraction. We've got to be aware of what's going on. Yeah, we've got to be aware of the surroundings. What we see up ahead, and we see storms, or we know we're going into a place. Use some of your new weather.com, windy.com. When you wake up, know where you're going to. Be prepared for that and drive safe. When we're out there on the road and there's a tornado, and we've talked about this. I mean, we got to react. Hopefully, we can react before we get there, right? Before we get to that storm. But when things happen, we got to know what to do as well.
Yeah, unfortunately, the problem with tornadoes is they're so very unpredictable. I mean, we can have tornado danger, we can have a tornado warning, but when it actually touches the ground, there is no predictability at all in what a tornado will do and what it can do and where it's going to go and how fast it's going to travel. So you've just got to be in today's technology, we have the opportunity to understand and hear and know what's going on with the phone apps that we have and knowing what's going on out there.
And you can't put it just on the BCB Live, right? The Weather Channel, AccuWeather. You've got technology to know what you're going into. You've got to use your technology to make yourself a safer driver. And I mean that by you are truly protecting life if you're avoiding going into some of these storms. BCB Live, hey, listen, we are the safest station in the nation, no doubt about it. When these storms happen, we're going to be there as well to give you, the trucker, some real advice and to make sure that you're seeing what's going on across the country. But listen, don't rely just on us, please. And I know you're probably saying, well, heck, we've learned as truck drivers to not really count on anybody on the transportation. We do it ourselves anyway, right? We know that if there's one person we can count on, it's ourselves. Yes, you absolutely can. And we want to make sure that you are concentrating, that you are counting on yourself and using that technology. And if you don't have those apps downloaded, download you a good weather app so you know what's going on.
Yeah, the AccuWeather and the windy.com, they're all free. You can get the free version. You can get the version that best suits you. You know what? I would say try a bunch of them out. I would say find the ones and play with them and kind of get to know the radars and go into them and spend some time just kind of getting to know how the app to work so that when you need to use it, you know how to use the functionality of it very well. I mean, these things are so advanced now on the phones and on your iPad, on your pads and on your tablets and on even on your personal computers. They do so much, these new weather stations and these new apps. They'll give you the opportunity to be successful out there.
Yes, they will. So make sure you use them and drive safe, Dave. Here we go. So backing. Our goal's at what day right now? 4 days.
Yes, sir.
Again, we want to make sure that we're doing all we can to get out and look. And I tell you, we talked about a little bit about this Sunday. And for those of you that were here on Sunday, we talked about the intentionality of getting out and looking. And Drive Safe, Dave, there's just no reason why we shouldn't ever get out and look. Until the technology is there for us to see all the time what's behind us, what we're backing into, we don't have a choice but to get out and look, because if you don't do that, let's face it, you're taking a chance on killing somebody. You're taking a chance on running into something. You're taking a chance on bad things happening. And what we want to do is own our thing, own the technology, own our own personal interest in safety that says, I've got to just get out and look. It's that critical. The fact that we keep starting over, right? As a group on BCB Live, we keep starting over. We're back to 4, 5, 6, whatever that number is. Why aren't we at 100? Because at the end of the day, Drive Safe, every time we broken the streak, we didn't get out and look.
Absolutely.
And I'm saying it's that critical, is that only you can do this. That's not I'm going to blame it on the dispatcher. That's not the dispatcher that gave you a crappy dispatch. That happens, right? But when you don't get out and look, that is in your control. And listen, you've got to want it, the passion that says, I'm going to do it. And we compare that to putting on your seatbelt. I mean, it's second nature to put your seatbelt. When you get in your car, you put your seatbelt. It's what you do because you know it saves lives. And you've got to get to that point that says, I'm gonna get out and look every time because it saves lives. It saves damage. It saves all of this thing. It saves. You don't have a choice but to put that seatbelt on, but to get out and look.
Yeah, there's so many things that go along with that. And you know what? If you're gonna back up, are you putting the hazards on? Are you honking to make sure everybody knows what's going on? And if you're doing those things, I guarantee you're getting out and looking. You've got to make sure you do the whole 9 yards. You want to make sure everything that you do about backing has its own routine, has its own thing that you're doing, and making sure that you're doing it every time. And that before you set that truck in reverse, you make sure that you're doing what it is you're doing. You are putting it in. You are putting the hazards on. You're walking back there. You're taking a look. And you're making sure that every single thing that you do out there is looking back there every single time. Walking back there, your hazards are blinking, your lights are going, you're taking it, and then before you back up, you blow the horn and let people know what your intentionality is.
Well, there's a purpose to it, Drive Safe. And again, am I right in comparing it to putting the seatbelt on?
Absolutely.
There's no difference, right?
No.
You put the seatbelt on because it saves lives, and dadgummit, man, boy, does it just hurt me when we lose our big streaks because we didn't put our seatbelt on.
Yeah,
it doesn't make it. Why didn't you click it?
Yeah, I mean, it's exactly like putting your seatbelt on. We don't want you to put your seatbelt on only because it's the law, or do we put it on because we think you're going to get in an accident? We want you to put your seatbelt on because it saves lives. That's why we want you to put your seatbelt on. Not only is it the law, but it in fact saves lives every time. And if that saves lives every time, getting out and looking saves lives every time. So why would it be any different? Why would you do it any different?
Speaking of saving lives every time, it is that time for the phrase that pays. And we know when you listen to these and you write them down, and if you get your name called on Friday and you win, you have that interest in your heart to save lives. Drive Safe Dave, can you preach them to them right now? Can you give them the holy word from Drive Safe Dave on safety today?
If you are not aware, you cannot prepare.
All right, I need you to say it to me like a preacher. Come on now.
If you are not aware, you cannot prepare.
No, I needed another one. Come on, preach it to me, Drive Safe.
If you are not aware, you cannot prepare.
Amen. There you go. Thank you, Drive Safe.
Hey, good morning, everybody. It is Buckle Up Bob and
Double Check Dale. We're just going to stick with that one. Hey, good Monday morning. Welcome to the new week. Safety keeps going. Safety never rests.
And we're going to continue with our theme for the last couple of weeks. We've been working on the brakes, and we did brakes and tires. And so we're just going to kind of go back and refresh. Hey, what are our CSA scores? What do they mean? What goes into them? Just give everybody a little bit of a refresher on some of the definitions. And so, of course, we're going to start with what we've been focusing on. It is Brake Safety Week, and, started yesterday, but again, probably over the weekend. We are currently Currently, we are at a 61% in the 80% threshold. So what does that mean? That means if we get to 80, we're on the watch list for DOT. They can come in, they can demand this company to do more things. So those of you that are complaining about getting trailers inspected, getting your trucks inspected quarterly, if we don't get this number under control and get it down where it's not even close, they can come in and tell you that you're going to do it every month. So just you got to realize that this is real. This isn't something you can just blow off. So we've got to do what we can do. So just to kind of give you an update on some of our trends, in July we had 6 clean inspections, 2 bad that had 3 violations for a total of 15 points. Pretty decent month. August, not so good. 4 clean inspections that would count towards our vehicle maintenance. We had 3 more clean driver only. But we had 2, each one had a out of service and a tire. And so that tire, in all likelihood, we don't have the points yet because it was August, but probably going to be 30 points each. So you can just bet on that, that 4 clean does not make up the 2 bad for 60 points. So we'll know for sure, but this is why you have to check tire. There's absolutely 0 reason to have a tire violation. Many of the drivers have talked about, every time you stop, you should walk around and check your tires. Make sure something hasn't happened. It is easy to grab something on the debris, but you can't use it as an excuse. If you care about safety, if you care about protecting your life, if you truly care about protecting other lives, then you're going to check them tires every time you stop. You've given plenty of opportunities, right? If you go to a customer, check the tires. I've seen some of these customer lots, where there's debris around them. So you could pick up something on a customer's lot. So, hey, check, and check. Go around, take that extra 60 seconds, and look at your tires 4, 5, 6 times a day, if need be. We are at the 97 days, so 3 days away from the 100, as you heard Sir Rick and Dry say, and we were at 4. We are 3 days away from making 1 week, 1 day at a time. But get out and look. How hard is it to truly get out and look? It has to be, that's just a heart issue, right? There's a reason you don't get out and look. There's a reason you back up on the middle of a highway for no reason, right? If somebody else can't make a turn, you don't move the truck backwards unless you got out and look and somebody's guiding you, that the situation is safe. Otherwise, it's up to that driver. He's making the turn. If he can't make it, then he needs to wait until you get out of the way. But don't back up, because at the end of the day, you're the one that has the accident, not him. Because, it's almost like a game of chicken, right? Hey, who's going to move first? Well, the one that moves first is the only one taking the risk. And so that's what you got to realize. Just, hey, you were there, stay put. Yep. If you're in the safe zone and where you're supposed to be, stay put. If you're not, maybe you overshot the intersection a little bit, right? And you feel like you're in the wrong, but then you got to get out and look. You got to get somebody to help you and make sure there's nothing behind you. You don't just put it in reverse and say, oh, they'll move. Or, hey, I didn't think anybody was back there. Your thought process can never be, I didn't think.
Or I didn't see him because they pulled up so close behind me that he's out of my mirror.
So I mean, when you start thoughting up where I thought, well, then that's your red flag that you didn't do your process right. You weren't the safest out there, because it has to be, I know. Hey, I got out and looked twice. I know there was nobody back there. I got this guy. I got out twice and looked. I got this guy to help guide me and stay back there so nobody came up on me, right? Because I know. It wasn't, hey, I thought I was good. I thought I could make it. I thought. If the process starts off with I thought, then you're not doing the safest option you have. That's really all that matters. It has to be, I know there's nothing going to happen. That's really what we got to get to, and we can. So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll come back with a little bit of weather. Hey, good. Welcome back, everybody. Hey, we know we had a lot of storm situations going over, and Henri did take a turn for the worse, right? Sent out a message, I think it was Saturday, but he decided to come inland up north instead of going back out into the ocean. And so, again, we got some flooding. Right now, he's kind of sitting right there in that northern New Jersey, eastern Pennsylvania. It is expected to go out this way. Let's see, maybe it'll even show that. Let's see, there he is. So he's up in southern New York, southeastern New York. Yeah, and he's supposed to kind of take a turn through Massachusetts. So Rhode Island, Connecticut, all of them could see, and the southern parts of Vermont, New Hampshire, could see some rain and some heavy flooding. Looked at the Weather Channel this morning. They're talking about an additional inch of rain. So not sure, what they're going to get, but again, possibly of an inch. There are some tornado threats, watches as well. So you got to be on the lookout for that for our New England fleet up there. And again, hey, make sure, I know our New England fleet gets on this show quite a bit regularly. Make sure we're looking at our tires. I think we had one of the ones in August wasn't out of service up there for a tire issue. So, folks, focus on that as well. But today, watch your weather, slow down, right? We have to slow down. I don't care what the speed limit is. I know it's a lot of traffic up there in the New England states, but you just got to slow down and slow everybody down around you in doing so. Yes, they're going to pass you. But you know what? If you're doing 50 because of the rain, they're going to pass you at a slower speed in most cases because they're going to have to check up a little bit before they go around you because you're slowing the traffic pattern. We do have a little bit of wind expected today as well. You can kind of see it starts to kick up. It comes into northern Wyoming around noon, and it's going to get in this western area. You're going to see a lot of wind. And then it starts to die down around the 8 o'clock hour. It kind of shrinks a little bit, and then we get into 9, and you can see it really goes. So somewhere in that 8 to 9 area, it starts to die down with just little pockets, like I said, you can see in Nebraska and that areas. Our rain throughout the week, not supposed to do much, I don't think. We get a little bit from once Henri gets out of there. Tomorrow morning, you can see Minnesota, North Dakota, maybe a little bit here in the panhandle of Florida, and maybe New Orleans might see a shower or two, but the strong storms are going to be up north. And then tomorrow, as the day goes, we get a little rain chances on that southeastern seaboard, and again, the Chicago area, but nothing expected at this time to be in the severe category. Our wind gusts also, not so much wind tomorrow, so you can see nothing like today. So today we're going to see a little bit of some upper 30-mile-an-hour gusts probable out here in the Wyoming, Nevada, Utah area. Let's see what all that was. There you go. So mainly up in Wyoming, but you can see the Rockies are going to see in the 30s in that, and then up in the Flagstaff area as well. Kansas, Oklahoma, low 30-mile-an-hour gusts. So we just got to slow down about 10 miles an hour and watch the winds in your area. Our temperatures forecasted 95 in Dallas, so we got some 99 in Kansas. So you can see the heat's right in the center part of the country. Going to be really hot as today develops. Currently on the mild side in the 70s in most areas. And again, as we heat up the day, we're looking at 98 in Vegas. I don't see any triple digits. Pedras Negras, 99 degrees. But it looks like we're just going to be in that upper 90s. And then tomorrow, a little bit of the same. A little bit of cooler weather creeps in. Just as a quick reminder, September 1st, we got that coming up in 8 days? You're required to have chains with you on the trucks when you go on that I-70 pass out of Denver through the mountain passes. So again, that starts September 1st through May 31st. It's just required to carry them. The rest of the state is not so bad, or you're not required to do it. Of course, in the winter weather, they can change that, right? So you just got to pay attention to signs as we move in, and we'll continue to keep you updated more on that. But folks, I just want to really encourage you. That's all we got in the weather, but just keep looking at your tires and your brakes. Let's get them checked, and we'll be right back.
Hey, welcome back. Welcome back. Let's take a look at some videos, see what we have going on this morning. Here's an interesting video. I don't know if this driver's got his bright lights on or not. It's about 12:30 in the morning. This car comes over behind them, in front of us, and then brake checks him. So again, I don't know if the bright lights are on. This driver did a nice job of slowing down as he recognized the driver in front of him was changing lanes. So just always be aware, situational awareness, time it. Bob, take over.
Yeah. Yeah. If it is a light issue, hey, we talk all the time about courteous. So if this driver has got their brights on, if you're a driver out there and you're driving down the highway, you're in the middle lane, you're in the safe lane, but make sure, and again, don't know why this guy got upset, but it's just a dumb thing to do. The only thing I could think of, there was plenty of space, is probably the light issue there, potentially, because it does look, in this case, the way that's illuminated, I would say the brights are on. So maybe the driver forgot. I've done that before, don't get me wrong. It's a dark area, and then I can't really see for whatever reason, so I turn my brights on, and then you just forget about them, and then you come on, and it could be you come off of a side, not here, it's an interstate, but you come off of a side road or whatever, and then you get on a major highway, and it's like where there's more traffic. So just be mindful of it.
Yeah, here's something where, vehicle in the center lane looks like it's got something dragging, not real sure. We'll see a bunch of sparks here and there. And so as a driver, you need to make sure you're backing off, because if there's sparks, there's something dragging, something bigger could break loose, a problem. And so you want to be aware of what's going on around you. Driver does a nice job of backing off here. But again, when we see that many sparks, chances are something's going to break or something's going wrong there.
Yeah, I'd even like to see more, because you can still see the sparks reaching us. So yeah, maybe a little bit more, but good job.
Yep. Here's a nice one. We're doing a great job of staying back, keeping that space in front of us, owning that space. And so when people cut over or change lanes, we've got plenty of room to get by them without crowding them or without coming up on them. One thing I'll make a point of here is, anytime you're going past another lane with slower vehicles like that are coming up to a stop or off ramp or something like that, the chances of them jumping back out into the lane of traffic are always there. So that's, your situational awareness. We always want to be aware of that. We always want to be thinking, is one of these cars going to jump out in front of us?
Yeah, statistics say 1 out of 5 will. Doesn't mean 1 out of every 5 actually does, but maybe 2 in a row, right? That makes it that 1 out of every 5. So you just got to realize that somebody's going to jump out, so you still got to go slow even though your lane is open.
This is a great video here. I like this one. A driver does a nice job. Again, we got plenty of space from the vehicle in front of us. And the vehicle actually decides to make a turn, but we're slowing down. We know we have a stale green light here. We're slowing down anyway. Get up to the green light and it stays green and we go on through. Easy peasy, no problems. Just a really nice example, speed, space management, and being aware of your surrounding situational awareness. Green light, stale green light.
Yeah, this driver did a great job. This driver, again, obviously knows that intersections are the dangerous place in the roadway. And so this driver, again, has plenty of space, slowing down, goes through the intersection at a great speed. This driver clearly is protecting life, including their own.
And then again, the flip side of it, I hate having to show these, but, you come across them, you have to put them up and see what we can learn from them. And we know there's a stop sign coming up. We get up to it and we just we do roll right through that at about 10 miles an hour. It may only be a three-way stop, but it is an all-way stop. We didn't stop. We broke the law there. We did something that's very unsafe. We did not protect lives, ours included. Drivers, it is so important. These stop signs, intersections are the most dangerous place. And when we go through a stop sign like this, we just make it more dangerous. And again, here we go with the stoplight, just the same thing. We had our speed was manageable. We were slowing down for it. The stale light turns yellow. We decide not to stop. It's that decision process. It's, are we in a hurry to get someplace? It's not worth it, folks. If you're going to be late, call your DM, call somebody, say, hey, I'm going to be late. Don't try making time up by making bad decisions and going through a yellow, red light like this. We want you to get home. We want all drivers to get home at the end of the week, at the end of their run safely. And when we make decisions like this, we're putting that at risk. We're putting other lives at risk. We're putting ourselves at risk. We don't need to be doing that.
Yeah. So yeah, everybody remember, drivers control the lane. Control that little piece of real estate in front of you. And In doing so, you will control what's behind you as well. So does anybody got any comments on this Monday morning on our vehicle maintenance scores? Maybe some best practices you are using when you're checking these tires? Ways to keep our score coming down and our streaks going up.
We don't have anybody yet, but I would really like to hear, because it is Brake Safety Week. So I not only would I like to hear about what you guys think we can be doing to better check our brakes, but maybe also we see a lot of rolling through stop signs and things, and if you don't check your brakes, you could roll these unintentionally sometimes. You know, you could just blow through these, and I think that that's important to remember as well, is not only is it unsafe for the highways, but it's also unsafe in these back roads as well. We got Leslie Warner here for us. What do you got for us?
Hey, Leslie, what you got for us this morning, ma'am? Miss Leslie? All right.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, there you are.
Okay. Hey, woo! I got a mic. Hey, I'm just wondering. We picked up a trailer last week off the yard, and the brakes were, kind of right there at the line, and we stopped at 4 different truck stops trying to get somebody to look at them and give us their opinion on them, and. We were clear out in Silver Springs, but we finally got somebody who could look at them. And then it was an all-day affair. But I'm wondering, is there not some way we can get somebody out at the yard, maybe to come through every once in a while and check out the trailers that are sitting there?
Yes. We're trying to come up with a way to do that. You got to have a truck to hook to them to do a lot of the checks. You can get under their measurement, but you still got to have that truck to apply the air, measure the stroke, and all that. I'm also thinking that maybe we need to start having them inspected a little more often, and not necessarily a full out inspection, but, we do our PMs on our trucks every 3 months. Maybe we need to start doing that with the trailer equipment as well, Leslie. But you're right. We have to do something to help assist our drivers out there. And kudos to you for doing the right thing. I'm sorry that you lost.
Well, yeah, because we've spent a lot of time in shops lately with trailers, and I'm just kind of wondering if, it's kind of crazy. It's a lot of time and a lot of money, and
Yeah, and as a company, we have to realize too that we lose that productivity as well. So, when our drivers aren't productive, we're not productive. So it's not a one or the other. The time we spent getting these trailers maybe PM'd a little bit more often is going to be offset by the fact that we keep our drivers moving more. And so you're 100% right. Sir Rick and I have talked about that, and it's my job. I got to take ownership of this, and I'm the accountable one. So to get everybody involved and to find a way, whatever we got to do to help our drivers out. But you're right. Can I ask, what was the brake issue eventually that they did have to do?
Well, it needed new brakes, and then as they were looking at it, they found a U-bolt that was damaged, and it looked like somebody had tried to work on it before, and then it was one of the trailers that had the single wides on it, and I don't know if that played into it at all. But, the U-bolt holds the... kind of holds the whole axle together to the trailer and all that, but it was damaged. They couldn't find it. Then they couldn't order it till the next day. And then it was just one thing after another. It was a damaged rim. It was yada, yada, yada. And then the week before, or 2 weeks before that, and we had a leaky seal. And I mean, it's just been one thing after another with trailers. And I'm like, so.
And again, I'm going to back and follow up on this, Leslie, for you, but I need to have all my information. Did you send the macro 39 code and take pictures?
We sent pictures from the
wheel seal.
From the Loves, we did. Yeah, the wheel seal. That was a deal we picked up at Ashley. That was a few weeks ago. I mean, they took care of that, and we took care of the one at the Loves. They did pull us off that load, but that was one that was actually sunk in the mud the other day. We had to have a wrecker come lift it up so we could get under it. So, and the brakes were just barely over the legal line. Right. So with it being Brake Safety Week, we wanted somebody to either certify that they were good to go or to change them out. You know what I mean?
Yes. Hey, great job.
So,
Really appreciate that.
we just didn't want to be the ones to get a bad brake inspection,
Love it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that. I wish everybody cared like that, and the blows on the show do. So, hey, really appreciate that. And yes, we are, in answer to your question, we're going to come up with something to help aid you all out there.
Yeah, no problem. We just figured, maybe while they're on the yard, maybe there's just some way to, I don't know, measure the brakes, or somebody to go over them, or maybe hire somebody part-time, full-time to, come out and go over them or something.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. We sure can.
Yep.
Thank you, Leslie. Who else we got, producer?
All right. We also got Jeff Marsh on the line. What do you got for us, sir?
Hey, Jeff.
Okay, first of all, I got two things. First of all, that video where we went through the stop sign, we also declined to ignore the warnings of the stop sign before then.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, stuff. And second of all, what Leslie's been talking about, we do have big dragon comes out every day. And they do try to service our equipment out there. But I mean, you got to realize if they service that trailer when it's on the yard, it may be 6 months to a year before that trailer sees that yard again.
Yeah.
But we do have, I've been going to the yard enough to know that big dragon. I mean, I see them coming in every time I'm in the yard.
Yeah.
The little blue truck that says big dragon on the side, and they come in there and they look for trailers, and I've seen them actually hook the hose up to the emergency, and so that they can put some air in there and stuff like that. But we do have big dragon comes in every day.
Yeah. Yeah, we just got to find a way to do more because, again, clearly it's not enough. And that's the thing I think we got to realize as a company. It's like, okay, we're doing this, but just like, we ask you all to do things, right? And we'll continue to ask, but is it enough, right? Sometimes we have to ask for more. And the same thing, you should be able to ask more of your company as well. And that's me. I'm not putting that on anybody else. That's me to do the follow-up and to just make sure that we are doing the best we can. Not, again, we talked to you about being safe, safer, and safest. Well, we're doing things that are safe, but are we doing all that we can, which would make us the safest? And I think the answer is no, because we're hearing it from our drivers still. So who else we got, producer?
Yeah, Tommy Jones, what do you got for us, sir?
Tommy.
Good morning, gentlemen. How y'all doing this morning?
Good, sir. How are you?
Doing good. I'm getting ready to go to court or to do my deposition this morning, so I see if I get my grandson. But the reason I called in, I'm on this morning, is I talked with them about the brakes, and I went over to Miller the other day because I run here local, and I went over to Miller in Fort Worth and picked up a trailer and got there. I got hooked up to the trailer, pulled it out to slide my candle and everything else, so that way I could do a full walk around on it, because sometimes you can't fit in between the trailers up at Miller just to get back there. And so I pulled it out, and this one trailer in particular had 5 lug nuts missing off of it, had 15 lug nuts loose on it, and had a fresh brake job done on it. And whoever did the brake job or whatever like that either didn't check the wheels good enough, or the driver didn't check the wheels good enough. I don't know what the deal was, but we got to double check them lug nuts to make sure they're torqued down right and everything. And the guy that came out and to put the lug nuts back on there and everything else, he even took a torque wrench and torqued them down to 500 pounds, on each one to double check to make sure they was tight. But we need to make sure when we get these brake jobs done to check your lug nuts, because you could have lost, whoever, you could tell it rode for like that for a while because the wheels were shining where the lug nuts were at, and you could have lost wheels and killed somebody.
Yes.
And you got to watch that stuff.
Tommy, what was that trailer number?
It was 53,603, I believe is what it was.
All right. And did you do the macro 39 and the pictures and everything, buddy?
I didn't do the pictures. I sent some to, I believe I sent some to Ricky. I can't remember if I did or not because that's my DM. And, but I did do a macro 39 on it. And, I talked to, Ben. I talked to Ben, and Ben's the one that got the guy out there to fix the wheels and stuff on it.
Okay. All right. I will follow up. Thank you, Tommy.
You're welcome.
That's great.
But, I just wanted to. Yeah, it's just one of them things, you know, you got to pay attention to those things. You know, the last company I worked for, the big problem we ran across was our impacts wasn't putting out enough torque to tighten up the wheels. You know, either they didn't have enough air in the impact, you know, to get the torque like they're supposed to get. And we made it mandatory over there at our last job that, you know, even if we use the impact, you know, go back across them, use a torque wrench to make sure they torque down right.
Yes, you're right. I had that before as well. You know, the thing I remind everybody is when you find a defect, okay, you are supposed to fill out a DVIR report, okay? Part of that DVIR report also has you verify the repairs were made. So in the relationship with Tommy, whoever had service done to that vehicle prior to that, obviously something wasn't done right. That driver is required to do a DVIR report and then verify the repairs were done so that puts their hands on them lug nuts, making sure, hey, this guy replaced the tire. Okay, now I'm going back there, make sure the tire's good, the wheels are good, everything is set, and then verify that repair done. But we're getting lazy when we don't do the DVIR. Folks, I'm telling you, the day's coming, and you don't want to wait till it becomes. BCB prides itself being out in front of these problems. DOT is going to start. This is what will happen in a lawsuit, right? They're gonna if a trailer or a truck or something is found defective, they're gonna go back and look at every driver that had that trailer and nobody wrote anything down, right? And so they're going to get you for neglect, and the company mainly. So again, when you have a problem, you need to, even if you fix it, if it's a mud flap, whatever the case may be, you do the DVIR and certify the repairs are done. Start that paper trail. So great point there, Tommy. Appreciate that very much. And I will follow up with maintenance on that one as well. Anybody else out there, producer? All right. Hey, everybody. Thank you all. We're going to see you all this afternoon, I guess, right? So have a blessed day and God bless you.